Good morning, everybody. So it is Wednesday, September 30th, and I just wanted to give you a quick overview of your language arts activity for today. You guys are going to be doing a writing extension related to the poem we read yesterday, Abandoned Farmhouse. So if you click the school document, it brings you to a choice board. So you're going to add a slide in your interactive notebook, title it Abandoned Farmhouse Writing Extension, and then write your choice, whatever choice you choose, write your creation below that on that slide. So you have two choices to choose from. If you need to reread the poem, here is the link here. I do suggest that you reread the poem. So there's a link that will take you to the poem so you can review that. So you have two choices. Your first choice is to create a backstory for the family and what might have happened. We're left with a lot of questions of why did they leave in such a hurry? Why did they allow their home to become so run down? And just, what happened? That big what happened question. And so you are going to, if you choose this option, theorize what might have caused them to leave in such a hurry. What event, or maybe it was multiple events, that led to this family leaving their home to become abandoned and desolate. And so with this, I do want you to be creative, but also realistic. Think about the time period that this poem could have been written. It definitely does not seem like it's futuristic, so you want to remember that when you come up with your backstory. You are responsible, if you choose this one, for writing a half a page story about the family and whatever hardships they might have faced before the poem was written that would have led to this abandonment of their home. I do want you to try to write this from the point of view of one of the family members. So either the father, the mother, or the child, whichever you prefer. Try to kind of put yourself in their shoes and think of what would have caused them to leave their home in such a hurry and in the manner that they did. Okay. So you've been given some examples here. So if you click this document, it'll open up some examples for you to view. And these examples are just meant to kind of get you started. It's just that the first few lines of a possible backstory. I didn't want to give too much away because I do really want your backstory to truly be your own creative thoughts and recreation of what might have happened. So there are two examples here to kind of get you thinking of how to set this up. Notice they are both in first person. They're being told from the point of view of one of the family members, and that's what is expected of your creation. And then your second choice is to create your own personification poem. So we know that this story or the poem is told from the point of view of the farmhouse and what the objects within the farmhouse tell us about the family and what could have possibly happened. So if you choose this option, I want you to look around your house, find at least 5 objects that could tell a stranger about you and your family, and maybe what it's like to live in your home. So if you choose this option, you're going to be responsible for creating a poem similar to the structure of Abandoned Farmhouse, which means it's free verse, so it doesn't have to rhyme. Again, picking at least 5 objects from your home that could tell about you and your family. And the poem should be at least 2 stanzas and 10 lines long. So remember, a stanza is a group of lines. So you need at least 2 of those and at least 10 lines. You don't have to evenly proportion out your lines into the 2 stanzas, or if you do more stanzas, it is okay for a stanza to have more lines than another. So here's an example that Miss Pipes, one of our language arts teachers, wrote for her house. And as you can see, she wrote 3 stanzas. The first stanza is a little bit longer than the second stanza. And then the third stanza is also a little bit longer. So it's fine if every stanza is not the same length, but you do want to focus on picking objects that could tell a stranger about your family. And it needs to entirely be your own. Think about the structure of Abandoned Farmhouse, how it would use the word say and says to show how the objects speak about your family. And so that is what's expected with your poem as well if you choose this option. Okay, so to do this, you're of course going to need to open your interactive notebook. Okay, so I'm going to open mine just to show you. And then once that loads, you will just go down to the next slide of your notebook. So you should have the abandoned farmhouse on slide 8. So you're going to just click below that, click new slide. Okay, and mine set it up automatically in 2 columns. You can change this by clicking layout. And I would do the title and body option because then that gives you your title and then a text box to type your poem or your backstory in. So you're going to title this Abandoned Farmhouse Writing Extension. Okay. And then here you will write your poem or your backstory. And remember, pay attention to the length. The backstory needs to be at least half a page, so half a slide. And that means at like a normal text size. So if you were to fill up this slide, that would equal probably about 3/4 of a page. And so you could make it a little bit smaller if you want, but also pay attention to the size of the font. Mine is currently set at 25, just because that's the standard. I would suggest maybe going a little bit smaller to truly equal that half a page feel. Or you could do a full page at a slightly larger font size. That's as long as it equals what would be, roughly a half a page. Half a page is typically about 2 paragraphs. And then your poem, of course, should be 2 stanzas with at least 10, or at least 2 stanzas, with at least 10 lines. So the font size for that doesn't really matter as long as you have that minimum of stanzas and lines. Okay. So that's going to go right there. When you're finished, make sure you're clicking turn in not on your notebook. If you turn in your notebook, then you are not going to be able to edit it or make any changes until I return it. So make sure you're clicking turn in here on the actual choice board, and then that'll prompt me to go look at your notebooks. Okay, so that is your extension activity for today. On Friday, we will finish looking at that tone analysis of Abandoned Farmhouse, and we will also get into some digital reading resources because you guys are going to need those starting very shortly. If you have any questions, please join Ms. Herman and I at 2 o'clock for our help session, or email me if you need help and you can't join the help session. All right, have a great day. See you guys tomorrow.